being leaked gradually.
Bring it up.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Well, here we go. It's that time again, and welcome to another edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, where you will never pay a service fee. Go online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pick your seats, and I can guarantee you'll have the best customer service experience on any ticket purchase you've ever had. Sports Bash is also being brought to you by the Embassy Diner, which is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, and that's where every single customer is considered family. Mention Sports Bash when you're there and get a free dessert with your meal, compliments of our good friends Gus. It's also being brought to you by the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito, Chiropractic Care Plus, located at 1 John Street in Babylon. Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for a Long Island chiropractor. So give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221, and the official charity of Sports Bash, the Marty Lyons Foundation, that is the official charity of Sports Bash Media. And we have coming up next week the third annual Bowling for Wishes event, which is coming up on August 23rd at the Levittown Lanes in Levittown. If you like to bowl, if you like to help a good cause, go online for more details and to purchase tickets at the Marty Lyons Foundation.org. And lastly, by Collaborate Studios, our good friends Chris and Nikki Raj over at Collaborate Studios, which is a content marketing production facility. And for more information, call them at 516-509-8277. Good morning. I am Vinny Tickets. Peter Schwartz is seeing Dr. Summeroff today, and he'll be taking his son up to play some college football on Thursday, which is an exciting time for him and his family. Best of luck to his son. I'm joined today by Whiz Kid Vinny. The number to call is 631-451-1039. Again, that's 631-451-1039. Today is a free ticket Tuesday, and we'll make the announcement when to start lighting up those phone lines, but it's free ticket Tuesday, and we'll be giving away 2 tickets for August 17th at BaldHill Amphitheatre. I know some friends that went in years past. That show is Saturday Night Fever under the stars at BaldHill Amphitheatre. And when we tell you to call in, we'll give you a cue on the back end of the show. We'll be giving away 2 VIP tickets for that show. That includes VIP parking, VIP entrance, VIP lounge access, and a private table for 2 watching the show. For now, we're going to also be covering the Sports Bash media poll that we've had. And right now it's time for the Sports Bash Flash. And it is being brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every single customer is considered family. And the Embassy Diner is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. And once again, when you mention Sports Bash, you get a free dessert. I think we have a testimonial for Gus just in the last few days. Whiz, you went over to our friend Gus. Was it for dinner or lunch?
It was for dinner. I went with both my parents. My parents could not say any more nice things about it. They loved Gus. They loved Peter, his dad there. They loved the food. They were very, very happy to see food come out as soon as it happened. Like the chicken that they were given at first, my mom got the full thing as her meal. She loved it that much. My dad really, really likes it. They said it's definitely one of the best diners they've been to.
Oh, that's great. So let's give a shout out to good old Reggie and Big Vin. We know they're loyal listeners on the show. So a little shout out to Reggie and Big Vin. I'm sure at 9:31 we'll get our reviews today from Reggie. So it's always interesting to see her take on our show.
Yeah, she and lesser extent my dad watches every day. My dad watches as much as he can, but my mom watches all the time. Said, "Hey, Vincent, come in and see how you did." I said, "Okay." So,
how is your dad feeling, by the way?
he's feeling better. Slowly but surely. He's still healing his knee, but
For the second time.
yes, because his balance is not as good, but he's been getting better.
If he needs a good chiropractor, I could recommend Dr. Anthony Ippolito.
I don't think his back is really the issue. It's more so his knee and his snoring. I'm letting you know his snoring is a problem. But I've been used to that for years.
Yeah, I live a couple of blocks away. If you guys leave the windows open, I hear it sometimes.
That might not be a shock. When I was younger, I was playing Xbox and because I was the voice chat and said, "Hey, what's that noise?" I said, "That's my dad." "That's your dad?" He says he was in the bedroom because the door was open. They were shocked. There's no shot against you, Dad. Don't worry. It's nothing personal. It's just all in good fun.
We love you, Lospo. All righty. It was let's go over to the New York Yankees. And I think we have a little bit to discuss here because there's some real blaring numbers when I look at this game last night. And when you look at the season, it was a rough night for the Yanks last night in Chicago. They were beat by the Sox by a score of 12-2. Lewis Heel allowed 4 runs on 7 hits over 4 innings. A couple of bright spots. Aaron Judge had an RBI double. Anthony Volpe had an RBI single for the Yankees. But here's the big thing. And this really troubles me probably the most of everything. And that's that the Yankees left 16 runners on base, right? That's a troubling number that we're going to talk about. They were 2 for 18 with runners in scoring position. And a little bit of a concern, although we did get the report this morning that it's not much to worry about. I do feel that Jazz Chisholm gave them a little boost of energy when they got him right before the trade deadline. He came in, he brings a certain flair to the game.
A little moxie,
A little flair to the game. I agree with that. So he did leave the game last night with a left elbow injury. He's going to undergo some more tests today. And with the loss, unfortunately, mining yours, mine and Peter's, our New York Yankees fall a half game behind the Orioles in the American League East race. And it looks like this is going to go right down to the wire, neck and neck. So every single win is important. And when the Yankees go into a game like this, it's almost a no-win situation. There's really no way for them to come out looking good. If they win the game, they're supposed to win the game, right? If they lose the game, even by a little bit, if it's a 3-2 score, right, they're supposed to win that game. They're supposed to sweep this team, right? Whiz, I know we were talking earlier. Give us some of the statistics on the White Sox. I mean, they've been just abysmal this year. So tell us a little bit about what we were talking about before.
Well, for starters, it's the middle of August, and they don't even have 30 wins yet. They have 91 losses and only 29 wins to the season. They've had a streak of 14 losses, and just recently they had a streak of 21 losses. For a long time, the AL All-Stars won a game more recently than the Chicago White Sox. That's how bad they've been. They just recently fired their manager. They have, I think, over 20 games beneath the Oakland Athletics as the worst team in not just the American League, but all of baseball as a whole. This is historically bad. This is on the levels of the 1962 Mets, the 2003 Detroit Tigers, even the Orioles from a few years ago when they lost 116 games. This White Sox team is on the verge of doing that. And what makes it even worse for the White Sox is that there's threats of relocations to Nashville, Tennessee. And man, just terrible.
It's a tough team to watch. But hey, they beat the Yankees last night, so put a feather in their cap. The New York Mets were off yesterday, and they'll open a series tonight. Their last series with the A's as the Oakland A's, right? Jets holdout defensive end Hassan Reddick has requested a trade. I want to talk about that a little bit because it just befuddles me when they talk about these situations. The Jets have informed him that they do not want to offer him a trade. They want to try and sign him. But it's amazing sometimes when the tail wags the dog, and that's what's happening in that situation. Coming up on Sports Bash, we'll have today's Sports Bash poll question, as well as This Day in Sports History. We'll also be announcing a winner for those BaldHill tickets. And throughout the break, we're going to give you a couple of announcements from our sponsors through the break. And then stay tuned through the break. We will be doing some coverage then as well. And let's take a break, and we'll see you at the back end.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
All righty, we are back, and we are here to talk about a lot of information to cover, a lot of sports to cover. But one thing we did want to talk about before the break, when we were going on to the break, we said that it was the last time that the Oakland A's would be playing here in New York, right? So tell us, Whiz, tell us what your understanding is as far as the relocation of the A's. And I know that it looks like they'll be playing in Sacramento for the next 3 to 4 years. Is Sacramento considered a baseball town?
Sacramento had some interest of getting a baseball team for a while back, but now with the A's there from 3 to 4 years at the River Cats, that's the AAA affiliate of the Giants. There's some rumors that, hey, maybe Vivek Ranadive wants to maybe get a new stadium over there, but he just recently got a stadium for the Kings, so I'm not sure how likely that is. But I would say it's probably 4 years because there's still a lot of negotiating with Las Vegas. The city does not want the A's. They don't want John Fisher. It's a whole situation, and who all we know, they might end up in Salt Lake City instead.
Yeah, I'd love to see him out in Vegas myself. I think we could use a baseball team in Vegas. Welcome back, everybody, and we are going to start off the second half with our Free Ticket Tuesday. And our Free Ticket Tuesday, we will be giving away 2 tickets of the VIP variety for this Saturday night at BaldHill. That is 2 tickets for Saturday Night Fever Under the Stars. That will be at BaldHill Amphitheatre right down the road here. Really a fantastic place to see a show, and those will be full VIP tickets. We will be taking the third caller today. The third caller at 631-451-1039. 631-451-1039. We're not always able to get those callers on the line, but we do keep track. Our good friend behind the glass, Sebastiano, is meticulous with this task and gets us the winners. And then we reach out. Actually, a representative from the sponsor will reach out and provide those tickets. So it's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. And what we do is we post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X and Twitter page. First, the results of Monday's poll question. And the question was, would New York, New Jersey be a good fit to host the Olympics? And I would say that, yes, they would be. We have a lot of the facilities. New York is a mecca. It is a destination vacation for many people. We have the hotel capacity. We have the football stadiums. We saw what they did with cricket. New York and Bruce Blakeman did an amazing job here in Nassau County to erect a full cricket stadium. It was like an erector set. Remember I think you were big with the Legos, was it? Connects. Okay. So it was a lot like a Connect system that was put up. So I would say, unlike the general public, I would say that New York would be a great place to host the Olympics. But it does seem that it doesn't seem to be as coveted an award as it used to be at one time, because I think there's a lot of expense that goes into it. And although the cities do benefit from it, from the travel and the tickets and the hotel and the tourism, I don't think it's as big or as popular as it used to be a host of the Olympics. But what's your opinion, Whiz?
My opinion is that, if you look 20 years ago, there were so many countries across the world that wanted to host the Olympics. But as inflation has gone higher and higher, a lot of these countries have had to build these massive stadiums to accommodate the Olympics. And these stadiums would mostly just be vacant afterwards. And they would have a lot of issues with paying the workers that even paid those stadiums, that worked on those stadiums in the first place. I would say that because of all these expenses and because a lot of these countries don't really get as much of a boost, especially with the increase of TV and online social media, I think you're going to see more cities in America that have these facilities do. And I say America in particular because we have the arenas, we have the stadiums. I don't understand why New York would not be a coveted choice for people, but I also get it too because we've also spent a lot of money for stadiums. It is, MetLife, UBS, the refurbishment of, Nassau Coliseum and MSG. Also, can't forget Prudential Center, the Red Bulls Arena. NYCFC is trying to get a new arena, Citi Field, maybe even a roof on that, or even Yankee Stadium. We've had to pay a lot of stuff in the New York metro area the last 10, 15 years, and this would be another expense. So I completely understand from that perspective because it would be a lot for us as also.
Enough's enough already is what you're saying. I do want to touch while we're talking about that, and then we have a lot to cover here. I do want to talk about are there any updates for the Nassau Coliseum?
I have not seen any, but it's a shame too, because when I was growing up, that was a great place to go for families. Just go down the Jones Beach highway, but it's just a whole white elephant right there. This big, ugly looking, almost like a space.
Sorry, Peter, knock it down.
No.
Sorry, Peter.
No, not.
I say knock it down. Listen, the building is antiquated. I agree with you, and it does have, and I have memories myself. I remember, going to lots of events there. I've taken my kids to the Monster Jam there. We've been to the circus. I've taken my daughter to the Disney shows there, and they did do a lot of productions. But take the drive another 20 minutes. Go to a state-of-the-art facility like UBS Arena, because I have to say I've been to probably over 100 different venues in my lifetime. And if I had to rate them, and this is not a knock, I'm a native Long Island kid, actually born in Brooklyn. But I am a native Long Island kid, and I love everything about Long Island. But out of the 100, if I had to say I've been to 100 venues, and rate them number one, and you'll be happy to know that Atlanta's definitely Atlanta, when I went to the Super Bowl there, is in my top 5. I would have to say that the Nassau Coliseum, again, sorry, Peter, but the Nassau Coliseum, it's time to knock it down. It's time to start anew. They really should have gone with the Lighthouse Project, because it could have been a mecca. It could have been a place to go. It could have been a place for Long Islanders to go and spread their wings.
Yeah, it's a real shame that happened to Charles Wing, but he got his promise to still keep the Islanders in Long Island. And with the UBS Arena, like he said, it makes Nassau Coliseum antiquated, and it's a shame too because you see overgrown grass in the area, just the empty parking lot. It's sad, but maybe at least erect like a little bit of a statue there or a monument for. But just right now, when you're not doing anything with it, I hate to say this, Peter, but maybe it's best to say goodbye.
Yes, maybe it's time. All right, so I know that we want to talk about this poll question. So today's question is, what was the most overrated moment in New York sports history? And I'm going to ask you in a second because I always like to get your perspective on things. Pick one or comment with your choice, and our poll question is posted on our social media channel. We give you the opportunity to write in a response as well. But the most overrated, John Stark's dunk, Andy Chavez's catch, the Tino Brocious home runs, or Sean Bates' penalty shot. So if you had to say what was the most overrated of those four, Whiz, what would you go with?
I'd probably say the penalty shot, just because in hockey, there's far more to it than simply an individual sport. I kind of like it more when it's like a team effort. A penalty shot themselves, you still see a lot of controversy over it, so I'd probably go with that.
Yeah, they are exciting to see.
Oh, they are exciting.
It's one of the most exciting parts about the sport. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. I'm not disagreeing with that at all or disputing it. I'm just saying in general, when you look at these in general, I mean, they're all great. They're maybe a little bit overrated in their own way, but they're still great nonetheless. I mean, if we were listening to them as overrated, it would mean that a lot of people think of them very, very highly. They're thought of pretty highly for a reason, so I can't discount that.
All righty. We have a couple more things to cover. Let's go with this day in sports history. We have like 30 seconds for that, Whiz.
Well, on this day in sports history, Michael Phelps got his final gold of his Olympic career, finishing first in the 4x100 meter swim race. 23 gold medals, the most ever for an Olympic athlete in history, and makes sense that Michael Phelps, who, by the way, shares the same birthday with me, ended his career on a gold.
There you go. Lots of greatness on that birthday. Send in your responses for our poll question. Friday, we have a very special guest on our show, Ian O'Connor, who has a new book about Aaron Rodgers, Out of the Darkness. That will do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Dr. Anthony Ippolito Chiropractic Office, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Collaborate Studios. Don't forget, tomorrow we have Stump the Whiz. It's our most watched and anticipated segment on the show. We ask that you send in your questions on social media. Let's stump this kid. Let's get his average back where it belongs at 500, or maybe we'll get him up to 700. For everybody here in the studio, for Nikki Raj, for Whiz, Sebastiano behind the glass, and our entire crew, I'm Vinny Tickets. Thank you for watching and listening. Sports Bash will be back tomorrow.